Hey everybody, welcome to the DesignAShirt Spill the Tea podcast number 3. I'm your host Dallas, here today with a special guest, Bree. How's it going, Bree?
Oh, hey, it's going good.
So I thought I would start today by letting our listeners know a little bit about you and your experience with DesignAShirt. We've explained in the last podcast how we have 3 different businesses under one building, Anton Sport, DesignAShirt, as well as Anton Uniforms. And I know that you've helped out with every one of them. So give us a brief background as to how long you've been with the company and what you've done here.
So yeah, I've been here for almost 5 years. I started off at the front desk, was at the front desk for about 6 months and then moved to Anton Sales. And within this past year, I moved to DesignAShirt's team. So I'm well-rounded in a lot of different things. And right now I'm in operations with my manager, and we help every other company within our umbrella. So DesignAShirt, Anton Uniforms, etc.
Perfect. There's literally never a dull day when you are helping between 3 different companies, I imagine.
Definitely not, but it's fun. I mean, challenging, but I like challenging. I like the solving the puzzle part of being involved in every company.
So what's current day-to-day like now? What would be a typical day for you?
Typical day for me would be working on big projects. I don't have many small projects anymore. A lot of them are brain consuming, basically. For example, building automations, mostly. Building things that help all our companies run a little bit better, help tasks. For example, a customer is placing the same order all the time, but we have to manually enter all those orders. Building things that help our team and that customer make that more efficient.
Sure. I was just talking to Jessie in our last podcast. She expressed that she wishes that she had a punching bag in the office. Not because she's angry, just because sometimes it would be funny or fun to relieve a little stress. And I said, how funny would it be if robots, we saw 100 years from now, robots replaced us, and then the robots are like frustrated punching bags too. But I get it. The reality is that this is a complicated business model, and there's a lot of moving parts between ordering goods, having art be ready. Is it a reorder to make it simple? What's our production schedule like? So it's definitely brain zapping in itself.
Brain zapping is the perfect word for it. I mean, you can ask anybody, any type of week, any week we have here, people have their brain drained. But I wouldn't say it's always necessarily bad. It's just, like you said, it's a complicated business model where we are constantly monitoring a lot of things that people probably are not aware of.
Right. Well, the benefit for us is that, for example, we might not have inventory on hand, so we don't have to worry so much about, ordering 10,000 beige shirts that never sell. So it's an advantage to us, but for us to be able to get that product in, we have to be able to order on the fly as well.
Right.
So here's a great example in terms of automation. Right now, for Concierge on DesignAShirt, we have a Typeform setup. So just, again, another brief background for Concierge is that if someone has a custom design that they want to have done, we have a form that they go through, and they give us all the information that they want, and then we can create an order based on that, right? So another avenue for our customers to create custom garments is with embroidery, which is something that's not simplified through our website, but it's a service that we offer. So recently we created another Typeform to go through that process as well. So give me an idea of what Typeform is and how we use it for both Concierge and embroidery. Even if there is some overlap, what is the main goal of the setup?
So Typeform is a form builder. If anybody's ever used Google Forms, it's a logic builder. A little bit more complicated than Google Forms, but it's a form that we can create. We use it for, like you said, T-shirt concierge, which was the first iteration of what we made, and then we recently made the embroidery one. Basically, we're asking the basics, what kind of garment do you want? How many locations? What's your design look like? What can we do to, why aren't you able to upload this, basically? Why aren't you able to design this? What's going on? Type of things. We ask the basic questions of design, product type, color, and then we go from there. And then the way that the form works is we get alerted through our customer service email, and one of our customer service reps will pick it up and help you figure out from there.
And it's more than, it's not just blank. You actually have photos of products, like categories that people can select as well. And it's not so granular to go down to the product level, is it? Does it just keep it in a category, or does it actually go down to the Nike Polo or the Hanes BPT? How granular is it?
Does not go down to specific brands. It would go down to the t-shirt concierge one goes down to very specific. So you want a t-shirt. What kind of t-shirt? V-neck, crew neck? Do you need a children's t-shirt? Do you need a ladies cut over a men's cut type of thing?
And so what would be the process at that point? Our art team would take a design and they would save it on a particular blank and then send an email to the customer saying everything is set up for you to place an order online.
So the way we use t-shirt concierge right now is an artist or a team member will create a design based on their ability. We'll save it to your account, and through our DesignAShirt system, it alerts you when a design has been saved. You can email back saying, well, we want this adjusted, but at that point it is saved in your account and it goes through the regular process of DesignAShirt. So if your design is saved, we can save it on the closest matching product. Sometimes we know that we don't have that product on our website, but again, we're already communicating with you, so we can mention it's saved on this product, but you can
go in and modify at will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about right now through Embroidery? It's not set up in the back end where someone could log in and view it, or do you have something saved in that has a mock-up of a logo, even though it's not actually screen printing? How does that work from the customer standpoint?
A lot of customers know just that have been working with us that they have to email us for Embroidery, but because we're building this form and we built this form, we have the ability to kind of mock up and show them. Since they're asking specifically for Embroidery, I don't think we have to say that, this is a mock-up of Embroidery, they should know, but it would just be a digital mock-up, similar to how all of our team members would send a digital mock-up.
Okay. From a technology standpoint, there's a couple different aids that I use. For example, Buffer is an app that I use for scheduling social media. Zapier we've used for scheduling social media posts through Trello. Trello is an organizational board that's very visual that we use in-house as well. What are some of those automated systems, and then what do you use those systems for to automate?
Right now, for example, a good example is because we have this Typeform, it doesn't connect automatically to any of our other systems. However, our whole company uses Trello to, as you mentioned, organize boards, teams. We have an embroidery board. So for right now, we have the Trello, we have the Typeform for embroidery going to a Trello board, meaning someone else can pick it up. They can look at that card. They can take that information, then send it through our customer service email, and then that's how it works.
Right.
So it basically, you use Zapier for automations, as you mentioned, and you create gateways to help other systems talk to each other. So Typeform and Trello, we're using it to create a task on Trello.
Right. And Trello in itself, it might be worth talking about the type of organization that we have, because our art requests go through Trello. What other Trello boards can you think of that we use?
Both of our teams have art request boards. Basically, we put any customer art request on these boards. We can assign a date. We can assign the type of art it is. For example, if a customer needs a vinyl transfer, we can assign a transfer. If it's an embroidery design, we can assign as embroidery. If it's going straight to our direct-to-garment machine, we can label it as direct-to-garment. We have a embroidery scheduling form for our outside vendors and our personal embroiderer, scheduling all our embroidery jobs that we have.
And they have access to those boards to view whatever it is that we set up. Is that how that operates?
Right. So it's a shared embroidery board with our vendors and our inside embroiderer.
Okay. What other technology do we use, like Inksoft? Would that be?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Inksoft. So Inksoft is a part of the platform that we're moving to with our new site. They are an e-commerce platform, but also geared specifically towards the apparel, custom garment, direct-to-garment, screen printing industry, right? But what's unique about them is the ability to create these small stores. It's almost like Shopify for our industry.
Yep.
So even though it's critical for us, we are using a bit of a hybrid on our new website, but the back end that they offer us is what's most important to us.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the key elements of that back end that are critical to our industry?
Critical to our industry specifically, and I would say biggest benefit for our companies would be the production side. I mean, they automate production right down to, it's smart enough to know you have 10 orders that have the same design. We're going to group this together and print it as one. Where right now, all our systems we just place it.
We would
by
have
order.
to catch that.
Right, we would have to catch that, or we would have to put notes where this system is built to say, well, you're picking the same design. These can all be grouped together. It can even go down to scheduling by press, which is something that we've never had access to. I mean, we don't have access to that in our back end right now. Anton doesn't have access to that, something like that right now. So being able to schedule by press makes it able to schedule out for weeks or days. I mean,
right.
we don't usually have orders weeks out, but 2 weeks out, we can schedule by press to know exactly what everyone's supposed to be printing by day.
Would it be worth noting that our presses are different and some smaller orders might be better suited on a particular press than another?
Right, and that's kind of the thing, is where our production manager would have access to this back end and say he can be scheduling out, well, this piece is 12 pieces, one color, that should be going on in manual, rather than 100 piece, 6 color, which should be going on in auto.
Exactly. So the benefit is taking the extra brain power, the zap out of the brain that we talked about earlier, and automating some of that process. That makes sense. Well, another unique thing about Inksoft is the ability to create pop-up stores. And a pop-up store would be great for a small brand or a fundraiser or an event that you have. And there's a couple different ways that you can meet whatever thresholds you need for buying stuff. So, for example, walk us through the one that you did for the dog rescue.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? And in that situation, in order for them to have great buying power, they had to reach a certain threshold in terms of number of t-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you created a deadline, just time-based deadline.
Mm-hmm.
People had X amount of weeks or whatever to fulfill enough orders to reach that threshold. So in that situation, was it an all or nothing? Meaning if they didn't reach the threshold, did you not print the t-shirts? How did that operate?
The stores are a little interesting because it's new for us, right? It's a new system that we're using. So this particular example for the dog rescue in Arizona, Pets Return Home,
Shout out to Pets Return Home.
Shout out to Pets Return Home. We wanted to be able to print these by Christmas. So we needed to print and ship before Christmas, and this was last year of Christmas. So the way that we did it was we priced them at a 12 piece. Basically, we said, this is the most you'll have to pay, and the minimum you have to buy is 12 pieces. Because based on the art, we thought screen print would be best suited. We limited their designs, so I think we put up 2 or 3 designs. We've noticed people get overwhelmed by design choices. So we put up our best designs. We had the crew pick, and then we told them 12 pieces, or no matter what, 12 pieces, minimum of 12 pieces. And luckily,
which is reasonable when you only have 2 designs or something.
They ended up getting 36 of probably both designs, or 2 or 3 designs. I can't remember how many put up. So it worked out in their benefit, because the more they sold, the less we charged them, and the more they made per shirt. So they sold their shirts at $20 a shirt. Well, if they only sold 12, our cost to them would maybe be 12. They would have to pay us 12. But since they sold 36, their cost was maybe $8. So they made a bigger
extra $4 on 24 more t-shirts.
Right.
Great. That makes sense. So what do we normally do? What's the normal process for determining whether someone might be eligible for a store? Is it really volume based?
There's a lot of things. I would say the commitment to your store is probably one of the biggest things. Your marketing strategy, or how hard you're going to push it, how hard you're going to work for your store. Because in reality, setting up the store itself is not hard for us. It's, the small pieces. It's making people understand that a one-piece design, one-piece order is not worth your time, and it's not worth, I wouldn't say it's not worth our time, it's just not worth the store. You could do that yourself.
Right.
So, for Pets Return Home, they had a good base, and they had just got national recognition. So it was a good time for them to strike hot, right? They had 36, so 72 pieces total from people all over the state, or all over the state, all over the country. Whereas, like a local school, if they're trying to promote their PTO and this is their first year, but they haven't put out any flyers, haven't sent out any emails, they're going to have a small volume of orders.
Right.
So, the PTO's purpose is to make money for the school, make money for these organizations.
Okay. What are some different kinds of stores that you've seen? Obviously, we just named Pets Return Home.
Which was a fundraiser. We've had a couple PTO stores. We've just had
98 KUPD is one as well.
98 KUPD who wanted to sell 40th anniversary gear.
Right.
People who listen to them regularly, which, worked out for them. We've also just had, like a book store wanted to sell their gear for an event. And so we just opened a pop-up store just for an event. And we've also done personal ones for our company where we had Valentine's Day.
Right, 4th of July.
Valentine's Day, 4th of July, and we just wanted to highlight some of the best designs for that so people could quickly access those designs, and
right.
seemed to work out.
It's worth noting in that respect as well that the majority of our website, while there are templates that people can customize, and you could take one of our templates, put it on a t-shirt, not modify a single thing and purchase it, but for the most part it's not necessarily intended to be a complete design. Right. The premise is that you customize it, you make it your own. Where when we do pop-up stores, it's a pre-decorated design, and it might actually have more design elements to it than just a template because it's intended to be a finished product.
Right.
So the look and feel is different. The technology behind it in the back end is conceptually it's the same. I mean, we don't have a scheduling element so much on the back end, but for us to determine, is this, I guess it's a bit different in the Inksoft has a design studio, but for these stores that we're creating, they're not so much taking advantage of that. Right. They are pre-decorated designs.
Right.
Tell me about something exciting that you've learned. You were super excited about a Zapier or something earlier this week, like out of your mind excited. What was that?
I think I just get excited about automation, okay. Honestly.
What did you automate then this week?
This week, what did I work on? What was I working on this week? I'm creating something for one of our bigger customers. And we need to make their workflow easier for them and for us. So I'm creating a Typeform, which automates to our sister company, Anton Sport. And basically they can submit an order, which would be much more organized than it is now. And then we can automate it to actually import into our system. So, automation is a dream.
I think you might be the robot of the company. You are finding a way to eliminate the humans.
Yeah, I might be just that, but I've learned from the best. I learned from the other robots in the company.
I was going to say, other robots? Let's wrap this up, but I'm going to ask you the two questions that I've asked on the last two podcasts. So the first question is, if you could have one element in this office that's fun, that would be enjoyable for you, what would that be? And the second question would be, if you could wave the magic wand and vacation anywhere, right now, where would it be? So question number one.
Let's go question number one first.
Okay, question number one. If you could have one thing that really would make it more fun, or you think would be enjoyable for yourself or for everyone, what would it be?
I would not necessarily more fun for me, but I think it's more fun for people when we do team things. For example, when we have to work across all companies to figure something out, just everyone kind of coming together to figure something out, I think people really enjoy interacting with other team members. For example, when Anton and DesignAShirt have to work on something together, I feel like they really enjoy breaking out of their normal thing. So I just think more team activities, more involvement of everybody.
Right, so not go-karts in the hallways.
No.
You don't want electric scooters.
I think we would break something.
That means we should do it no matter what. Okay, wave the magic wand, vacation, anywhere, you name it.
My magic wand is coming true, but I'm going to Germany, so...
Oh, tell us about that. Who are you going to go see in Germany?
I am going to go see one of my favorite people, Samantha, in Germany.
Who used to
work here.
Used to work here, yeah.
And so I get to go visit her at the end of next month.
I would say thank you in German. I have no idea how to do that.
Danke? Think. That's probably not right.
Dankeschön.
You should edit that out.
It's staying for that reason. Okay, well, how long are you in Germany for?
I will be overseas for roughly 3 weeks-ish, 17 days exactly.
Okay. Have you automated your inbox while you're gone?
I have not done that, but we actually used Trello to plan my trip. So
Awesome.
yeah.
How fitting, right? You were the perfect person for this podcast. Cool. Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Come back in the future and we'll talk some more.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.